Good morning. I want to talk about a new practice I'm doing to develop my relationship with food. I think it might be helpful to some others too. So, I've experimented with fasting. I really love fasting. I see it as a great medicine. However, I've been in non-supportive environments mainly, where and probably not in the best mental states. Where when I come off my fast, perhaps I'll start out good, slowly introducing simple foods, and then somewhere along the line I introduce something that's not wholesome or just something that has a lot of sweet taste, and it opens a beast, and I'm suddenly shoveling, not shoveling, but pecking, consuming large amounts, and ending up sick. I imagine it could get much worse. Um, so, the last fast I completed was 7 days, and I did finish gently and continue into a ketogenic state for some time until I got a hold of a bag of dried figs, and it was all over. And yeah, so I went from this clean stream of energy back into the, sugar rushes, waves, and roller coaster. What I'm trying now, what I've begun, is intermittent fasting, which is I eat for 2 days and I fast for one day. When I fast, I begin the night before and then rise in the morning, and I will do my meditation and yoga and my inversion back this way. And then, do my thing. It's a smooth day. There's plenty of stores from the day before. I think the biggest hurdle may at first be just the mind that is resisting. Once I've done a few, it's kind of, I can just, I make the announcement to myself that I'm going to take a break, take a rest, and, kind of just shimmy into that space. And so then I'll proceed through that day, and the next morning, a lot of times I take maybe some very restorative yoga, but nothing too intense, and meditation, of course. Sometimes the dreams of that night really are disruptive in my meditation because they're so clear, and, well, I suffer from a lot of tension. I grind my teeth at night, and so I'm still working in that space. So my dreams are very active and many details and lots of movement. But so far, this is grin. This is grin. Green. This has been a great practice for me. Um, it's a great way to explore fasting without committing to something that you have to, without diving too deep to where you have to slowly climb out, because I've just found that climb back out of a fast is, it's a very difficult process for me, and for, I would suppose, many of us who have the unhealthy relationship with food. I think many of us in this type of a culture where we have availability of all food at all times, and we live rather social lives. Many of us don't work that hard. It just festers. It's such a deep relationship. Okay, I don't want to go into all of that right now. But it's the first relationship that we form when we're born. We form with our, source that birthed us, and if we're lucky, at the same time, nutrition from that same being. It's such a deep relationship, um, it's such a deep bond, and so relationships like that can be very diseased. Just like, the other reason for doing this is I've just come to a place where I'm at odds with, I'm not producing my own food in a sustainable way. I try to always be eating local and whole foods. However, even when I'm eating whole foods, I'm eating more than I need to nourish. I'm eating as coping a lot. Um, I eat to quiet my emotions. Um, and it's just this industry, this way that we are producing, manufacturing food for people to cope with life, not just to nourish the cells. And by me slowing down, I step back and I start to appreciate what this really is. Well, it's a piece of carrot. What this really is. Am slower and gentler with my food. Um, and I'm not consuming as much. I'm over-consuming. Most of us over-consume, I imagine. It's food, man. It's serious. We have to find a way to live with it healthy. We have to find a way to grow with it. And, I think any of us that are, semi-conscious realize that we need to take this matter into our own hands and be feeding ourselves. We need to be like working with this land and growing our own food. And slowly, some of you are doing a great job at that. And you're a wonderful inspiration.